Hello, once again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to those of you who may be joining us live here on Facebook or YouTube shortly. Thank you to those of you who check in later, either listening to the podcast or possibly even clicking on our YouTube page. Get those views up over on YouTube, our few listeners out there. The man who makes it possible for all of those things to happen is the executive producer of this podcast and nearly a lifelong friend of mine, James Thomas Jamriska. Jimmy, good evening.
I am here. I am back. The COVID shocking. Hey Rod, I was 4 years late to something. Who knew, right? The COVID got me out all last week, but my first time, long time. Wasn't fun. Don't want to do it again. So that's what happened.
Well, Jim, unfortunately, the statistics say you'll probably have to do it again. But also, your second time around, it usually doesn't hit you as hard as the first time. So you have that to look forward to.
Awesome.
The things we have learned in the world of COVID. Joining us from Bloomington, where he didn't have to worry about COVID. He doesn't have to worry about polio. He doesn't have to worry about anything because he's been around forever and has all the immunities in his body. He's our resident old man. He's Chris King. Chris, hello.
Listen, if the plague in 546 AD couldn't take me out, nothing will.
That's what I'm talking about.
Much. I love you so much, dude.
And You're joining us is the man who brings the football knowledge, the handicapper. He's playing daily fantasy. He's playing futures bets. He's playing the spread every week. He's got college bets. He's the football man. He's Josh Williams. Josh, hello.
What's up, boys? How's it going?
I am terribly excited. We have a big show planned for this evening, a big show. So much, in fact, that I tried to get the word out hours earlier on Facebook and letting people know that they are in for a night of hot takes and fun and frivolity here on the podcast. I am fired up. I have my Pearl Jam hoodie on. The boys just rocked Indianapolis for the first time in 14 years the night before we're recording this. I will be seeing them at Wrigley Field 2 days from now. So, Chris, I ask you your favorite Pearl Jam song.
Okay, so I won't be able to pick a favorite, Rod. And I know this is a weak sauce from me. It's typical. But this is what I want to tell you about Pearl Jam. Verses in 10. After that, I'm good.
Wow. Not even Vitology, not Yield. I mean, there's some good stuff coming on there later.
Verses
Williams, what do you
is
say
where
about
it's
that?
at.
Yeah, I have a favorite album from Pearl Jam, and it's Vitology. Vitology is like the lost hidden gem, man. It's so good. It's so hard. I love everything about that album. And yeah, Chris, you're off to a terrible hot take podcast here. What's going on?
Well, listen, everybody that listens to this podcast often, when they heard me first drop this question, they were like, I cannot wait to hear what the resident music expert on the Morgan You Know podcast, the man with the taste, the man who has an ear for music and all things pop, Jimmy Jamriska, your favorite Pearl Jam song.
There are like 5 bands I've ever and will ever and listen to, and Pearl Jam is one of them. A lot of good ones. In Hiding, though, I think is my favorite. I just speaks a lot to me. And it's a real solid song.
Going off of Yield. I like that. Yeah, just actually out there for the listeners, all 3 gentlemen here on this podcast had the chance to be able to join me at this concert, and none of the 3 were able to be able to make it. So I don't want to hear anything from any of the 3 of them about like, oh, Rod, it would have been nice to go. Turns out this time I did invite each and every one of you, and none of you could make it. So that's we'll move on from there. All right. You guys all have important things to do. Jimmy, I don't know if I want to be around you yet. I mean, you say you're COVID free, but I see you're down there with the chest of drawers behind you. I kind of get the feeling like maybe the family just made you move in down there.
So. No, I am now living in the basement. So, hey, podcaster, what are you going to do right now?
Absolutely. All right. One other thing that I wanted to touch on here is we are thick into fantasy football season, right? Drafts are happening. Many of you may have drafts upcoming. Maybe drafted a few of your teams already. You know, let's not get into players. That's hard. We can sit here. How about this guy? How about that guy? Nobody really cares. What I want to talk about are drafts. Okay. I understand that there are traditions and there are norms and there are things that people do. And the snake draft basically became a thing in pop culture we know about through fantasy. I understand that, but we've evolved. We have moved past. I believe that the auction draft is far far superior to a snake draft. And if you continue to participate in a snake draft in your fantasy league, you are just choosing to not play big boy fantasy. That's just me. That's my take. Jimmy, do you have a preference between snake draft and auction draft when it comes to playing fantasy football?
I think playing with your friends, listen, it's timing. I'm not gonna lie, it's timing. Snake draft, you know how long it's gonna be. It's gonna be 2.5 hours. You'll be done. You people and your freaking $1 bids on auctions, tick me the hell off all the freaking time. I'm gonna bet a dollar. No, I don't want to be round one, pick one for 30 minutes. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. That being said, I kind of like auction because you can really get some good picks in there. So we'll go auction.
Chris, you're quite the contrarian on this podcast. You get no more glee in your voice when you get the chance to shout me down and tell me I'm wrong. What say you on the draft question?
Okay, listen, I prefer auction. I think I was the first one to institute an auction in our fantasy football leagues. And if I believe correctly, you fought me a little bit at first.
That doesn't sound like me at all. That doesn't sound like me at all.
So I am definitely for auction. What I will say, though, is if you do an auction draft, no one can complain about the team they have because they had direct control over it. That being said, only real losers complain when they blame the snake draft for their bad team. All right. A real fantasy football player should be able to succeed in either format.
So, Williams, I'm coming to you on this, and I believe that you might surprise some listeners the way that you surprised me, because here you are, a learned man. You are looking down at your notes right now. I like to imagine that there are like just pages and pages of notes, because I know you're a little bit old school. Maybe it's actually just your phone or a laptop that you're scrolling through these days. I'm not sure. I also like to think that up there on the other side, opposite of that wonderful background you have there, are like 14 TVs that you're always turning on to stuff. So you do all of this computing. You give us all of these things we've never heard about. And then I come to find out you prefer what?
Yeah, I love the snake draft, man. I've done them both. I don't think the auction is as good as what you say it is. It's fine. It wouldn't work in my league though. I just if you're doing it live, I don't mind the snake. If you're doing it online, I don't mind the auction. But what we have thrown a wrench into our snake drafts with my season long league is the third round reversal. And that has really, because we get to pick where we want to choose from the previous year's results. And that third round reversal, like everybody was picking before we did this, everyone wanted the first pick because they wrap around and get the 24th and 25th pick, and that's a huge advantage. Or number 2, and you get the, whatever, 25 and 28. With the third round reversal, you go 12, 13, and then it comes back to you at 25. So the 3 or 4 years that we've done it, we've had half the league get in the playoffs 1 through 6, and half the league get in the playoffs 7 through 12. It has happened that way every single year. So I think that brings a different take on the snake drafts.
And you know what I heard there? That's a wonderful thing that people that choose to be mouth breathers and play snake drafts can add to spice things up. But that's basically what you had to do there, right? Like you're role playing. You know what I mean? Like let's say fantasy football is your spouse, right? And you've been together with her for a long time. At this point, you're playing the robber who's coming home, right? You're playing out home invasion scenarios. You know what I mean? You're like, maybe you're purchasing some things from like a
What the hell are you talking about?
on the side of the highway. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about ways that you have to spice things up after doing something for a long time.
You went to that Pearl
right?
Jam concert a little early, I think, Rod.
And then if you're having to spice things up, I think ultimately what you need to tell yourself is there's a reason you're spicing it up, and that's because it's not the right way to be continuing to do things. That's what I would say, Williams.
Too much spite bidding and auction for me. If you know the people around you, just too much spite bidding. If you don't know the people around you, auction's fine. Yeah, I like auction, but
listen, you can only spite bid for so long because listen, Chris and I have spite bid each other numerous times, but you only have so much money, right? And then when you get stuck with a dude you didn't really want, you're going to think twice about it. So I get what you're saying. Listen, let's just call him out. He's the number one fan of this podcast. You're saying auction drafts cannot be possible because of Corey Nance, because of his contrarianism and how he basically has to go after everybody all the time. You're saying auction drafts cannot be possible because of Corey. Corey, if you're watching right now, defend yourself. That's fine. But I'm being told that auctions won't work because of you. and Williams is in a nice way trying to say spite bid, and he's talking about you.
Oh, listen, I use that all the time though, Rod, because I know that if I can get certain guys to overbid and overpay for guys I know they want, that means they have less money in the future to fight me on a guy that I really want. So I will. And if you know, I don't nominate guys that I want to bid on. I nominate guys I don't want to bid on to make other people spend their money on guys I don't even want.
Absolutely, man. Throw out the guys that are always getting overpaid. Those are the guys you put up for bid. You never bid a guy you actually want. But that's fantasy football draft time. Let's move on from that because we have a draft of our own to do. We have hot takes that we have to do. And I think we should remind everybody who we picked to win the divisions. But the funny thing about that is I'm not entirely sure if I can 100% remember who I had winning the divisions. But I know one member of this podcast will be able to tell. Williams, run down for everybody who your winners were, and perhaps that will jog all of our memories.
No, I don't want to do this before the draft. Let's go in fresh.
Ah, yes, interesting. Oh, because we think, because we're gonna go with you.
Strategy.
Listen,
It's
who
that's a
knows
strategy. It's the ultimate
wins and
strategy.
losses here? All
So
right.
we're not even going to do the hot takes before we do the draft. Then you
all,
No,
all,
do the hot
all we
takes
know,
after.
all we know is that it's Jimmy or Williams who are going to go after Cleveland.
That's very true. All right, listen. All right, let's get into it. James, you do
All
so
right.
well explaining these drafts and these games. I will turn it over to you here.
All right, very simple. Gentlemen, we are going to do give me a second here, Wins League draft here. And we have, sorry, Williams is just messing me up because apparently he's the producer now. That's fine. Wins League draft here. Williams, you have the first pick in the draft. Chris has second. Rod has third. I have the fourth and then the fifth because, of course,
Wait a
we're doing the
minute.
snake.
How is that determined? How is that determined? How was it
Yeah.
determined that I get the
Yeah,
third
I don't
pick?
want the first pick.
Who determined this?
The producer before the show, who doesn't cheat at anything, put our names in random.org and did seven. All right,
there we
randoms.
go. All you have to do is explain yourself. If I came up on a random way and you didn't just write me third, you know what I mean? Because
Nope,
if you wrote
that's,
Chris ahead of me on just randomness, we would have something to talk about. But if it just came out because the computer told you to,
That's how that happened. Okay, so now you're going to pick, and then there is one little curveball in here. During one of the rounds, and it was predetermined before the draft, Rod picked a random number. During one of the rounds, I will say, hey, this is the, what did we call it, Rod?
why don't we just call it the reversal round, sort of the way Williams was just touting the reversal for your snake drafts, right? Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to draft a team for another team, right? So I'm going to draft a guy for you. You're going to draft a guy for Williams, vice versa. And we're
Yes.
trying to give them a team who won't have many wins. We're trying to give them an anchor. We're trying to give them a team that will bring them down.
We're trying to give them a Detroit Pistons.
Bingo.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not trying to draft the San Antonio Spurs like I did high in our NBA draft.
Yeah, that was a good. So this is a wins league. We are going to actually keep this every single week throughout the year. Who has the most wins at the end of the year is your champion. Williams, you have the number one overall pick in our wins league draft. Who you got?
This is the exact pick I did not want, Jimmy. This is the
Okay.
worst pick in the draft right here.
Congratulations.
You wanted to do this, and now you're already complaining. Get to it.
All right. I'm going to try not be contrarian here. I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs are off the board.
Freaking boring. Of course you go boring. Good Lord. Move on. Chris, second
Chris
pick. Maybe
King.
you'll bring
Give
some
me the
spice.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Look out.
Cincinnati Bengals. Wow.
Chris saw the Cody Rhodes haircut on Joe Burrow, and he was all in.
All right. Rod.
I'm going a little bit contrarian, a little bit wild here. All right. But I'm going to do it right now because I think ultimately this team is going to pay off for me, and everybody's going to be so mad. I'm going to take the team with the easiest strength of schedule in the National Football League. Give me the Atlanta Falcons right now. Boom. Welcome to 9 or 10 wins. 9 or 10 wins. They don't even have to be good. They don't even have to be good. But what I just did was I assured myself that I have them. And for the next 2 rounds, I still have a chance of getting a couple of pretty good teams. That's what I just did for myself right there.
You were poo-pooing the Falcons last pod.
They have the easiest strength of schedule. They play the Panthers twice. That's 2 wins.
Listen, Rod,
right.
whatever strategy you have going on, I say go for it.
I apologize. to the following two fan bases. I apologize. I'm going all in. Screw it. Cleveland Browns. And I'm going to go with the Houston Texans. Let's go.
A Colts season ticket holder just picked the Houston Texans. Jimmy is all in to try to win this thing. He's got a big head, Chris, after winning the NBA league.
Yeah, I know, but we
I'm
know,
in so much trouble.
we know his history of NFL picks, so we hope that this carries into this wins league.
Thank you.
My pick?
It is Rod's pick is up.
Yep. You know what? I'm just going to do one here that I believe is a good team, a team that has a chance to make the Super Bowl, and it's a bit of a spike pick because I know my guy coming up next would want them. Give me Detroit. Give me the Lions.
Ooh, the Lions are off the board. Rod going, look at Lions, Falcons. Who would have thought a couple years ago these would be your first two picks? I like it.
Not me. Not me. To quote Paul Rudd meme. Not me.
Chris
Not
King all in on the Bengals, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am a little bit bothered, Rod. I was looking at the Lions for one of my teams, but I am going to stick with the AFC. Give me the New York Jets.
The New York Football Jets.
Damn it,
A
Chris.
lot of you're pushing all in on quarterbacks that do have some injury history. Williams, Chiefs, your first pick. Now
Now
you
wait,
get
we
two,
have to determine something. Does Chris get extra points out of the Jets for Aaron Rodgers' bogus controversies? Like, does he get any extra bonus points? Is that what he's doing here?
He gets a 1/10 of 1 percentage point.
I
Yes.
don't need any bonus points.
Ooh, cockiness. I like it. Williams, 2 picks. A lot of good teams still on the board.
Because Robert Saleh just instills you with so much confidence, Chris. You're just like, Robert Saleh, that's the guy I want at the helm of my team that absolutely has to win this year.
I mean, I see a team that almost made the playoffs last year, and now they get a Hall of Fame quarterback. They can't be worse.
Oh, they can be. It's the Jets. All right, Williams.
This is why I did not want the first pick, Jimmy, because I needed the Jets to fall to me at 8, and they did not do it. And Chris just ruined this draft for me. All right, the next pick is easy. It's Philly.
Okay.
I knew
What?
Chris was not going to take them.
Yeah.
Dude, I hope that one blows up in your face. I could see Sirianni getting fired halfway through the year. I'm not sure about that one.
No, you're crazy. Next one is tough.
I am
So-
crazy, but somebody has to be entertaining on this podcast, Williams. All right.
I'm going to go with our man, Mike McDaniel, down in Miami.
Wow. This is this is going to be an interesting draft. This is awesome. I love it. Chris, I know the Eagles obviously weren't on your board. Were the Dolphins anywhere near your board there? All right, hat came off. Not happy. Oh God, you're such a. I love it.
Yep, Dallas. Give it to me.
You got to be kidding
Dallas
me.
Cowboys. Dallas
They did
Cowboys.
I'm surprised they signed CeeDee Lamb. Chris, you said you were all in to be a fan, and look at what the Cowboys went and did for you after you changed your attitude. Look at you.
Yep, and you know what else they did? They made Rico the starting running back instead of Elliott. So we're all happy in D-Town.
All right, D-Town there. Rod, a lot of great teams still on the board.
This is wild, man. Like, I'd really love to just like go all in on one of my favorite teams right now, like the team who I started up the train for. Like, I'd like to take them, but I'm going to wait a little bit later. I could take my favorite team.
Yeah.
I could take Williams's, like the god that he prays to at all times, but I'm a little bit worried about the Super Bowl hangover for them. So I'm going to go in another direction.
Okay.
Give me the Green Bay Packers, baby. Let's go.
That was on my board.
Let's go.
Okay, well, that makes it easy. The top 2 teams are left on my, not the top 2 teams, but the teams I want still. I'm going to go San Francisco. And I'm going to go the Chicago Bears. Let's go, Caleb Williams. All right. We are still not, we do not have the reverse draft yet still. So let's go, Rod. We're still good to go.
I am up, and I'm going to go back to one of my original strategies here. I'm going to go back to easy strength of schedule. I'm bringing in a little bit of injury risk here, but I'm also getting my favorite team. Give me the Indianapolis Colts with the 7th easiest schedule in the league and possibly a guy who can put up 15 rushing touchdowns and 30 passing touchdowns if he stays on the field.
I like it. All right, Chris.
That was definitely one of my next 2 picks, Rod. That's another one you took of mine. I am going to go out west. I am going to take a team I think is going to make it pretty far into the playoffs, at least to the divisional round. Give me the LA Rams.
The Rams. I definitely Williams, the Rams. I see them either going first place or last place, no in between.
Yeah, I've got them at 8 and 9 just because of that defense. But
So not neither. Okay, gotcha. All right, Williams, take your first pick in the 4th round, then we may need a little timeout.
Jimmy, isn't it awesome when Williams no sells you? Like you just got the total feeling that I get
out
right
of me.
there.
It's fine. No, I'm trying. Listen, whatever. Williams, pick one pick here, then we'll recap. You ass.
okay. I do think this team takes a step back, but there's no way that this team should be going off as the 16th best team this year, and that's the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, I have them. I have them below 500 this year. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. We have now the reverse round, where beforehand I randomly selected, and this is going to be hilarious because Williams hates me right now. Williams, you are up, but you get to pick any team for me this round.
I wanted it to be for Rod. Dang it.
Then you know what? Hey, you can produce this all you want. You can do whatever you.
Jimmy, you're doing a
little
wonderful
thing.
job. The production is airtight. Look at this. You got graphics. We got 4 boxes over here. We're live. Come on.
Wait, who? Jimmy. So then Chris picks for Rod.
Chris will pick for Rod. Rod will pick for Chris.
No.
Okay,
And
so
I will pick for you.
I'm going strategy here. I'm actually not gonna. I'm not gonna give you the worst team, Jimmy.
Okay,
And I know
okay.
exactly who Chris is giving me right now. Then.
Yes.
Who you got? Who you want me to have, Williams?
So Jimmy, I'm gonna give you.
There's only one pick here.
No,
there's not,
Jimmy-
because he hates you.
Yeah, Jimmy, I'm gonna give you the New York Giants.
Oh
Are
God!
you kidding me? Out of the supposed worst teams, honestly, in my belief, I'm serious about this. The Giants are, because always one of the bottom 6 projected teams has a fair to decent year and flirts the playoffs. And in my opinion, the Giants have a much better chance of that than a few other teams that are still on the board right now in the reverse.
I don't know why Rod is so angry. Oh, it's because Chris is up, and Chris is going to pick for Rod.
Don't disappoint me, Chris.
This is
Well, I'm going to give Rod the Patriots, right?
Of course.
There's no other option, right?
Yes.
I need Rod to root for the Patriots this year to make everything right in the world.
Rod, I would say there's a conspiracy, but
no. Listen, it's fine. Listen,
I didn't see that from Williams.
I'm for content, Jim. I'm for
The
entertainment.
stabbing in the back from Williams, Rod.
I promised the
face.
people a fun show. I promised them gimmicks and frivolity. We have provided that so far. I will now proceed to give out the team that will be the worst team in football, and I'm happy to still be able to give them out in the reversal round here. And I also, it's a little bit of bad memories we got to bring up for our guy, because I don't necessarily know that he loved his time in Carolina. So we're gonna give Chris the Carolina Panthers.
The team that Rod picked to win that division over his first pick, the Atlanta Falcons.
Did I pick the Panthers?
Yes, you did.
That's ridiculous. I was totally on something. That might have been the night I was drinking. I can't believe I said that. The Panthers are going to be terrible.
Oh goodness! All right, so I get 2 picks. I get 1 pick for Williams, and I get 1 pick for myself.
Wait, it doesn't go back to me?
No, the 5th round.
He
You
took
had the
snake from
first
me,
worst
Williams.
pick.
Yeah, he took the snake from me, Williams, to bring in the reverse round. I love it.
I don't know about this.
It
I don't
goes
know about
down.
This.
I pick, then I pick again. Williams, I think that the
I feel like I know what you're
Oh,
going to do here.
I don't know if I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with the Raiders. You're going to get the Raiders.
You're
Yeah,
giving him Minshew?
that's
You're
what I
giving
thought.
him Minshew mania? Come
Yeah,
on.
you're gonna get the Raiders there. And then I am going to pick the team that I can never ever give up. They are not LA. They are San Diego. They are the Superchargers. All righty, Rod, who is just dumbfounded right now. Rod is off his game because of Williams.
No, there's 2 teams right now. There's 2 teams that I could take, and then there's a third that's a bit of a dark horse, right? But I'm going to take the team that I believe will actually probably get the thing that I talk about the most, and that's the new coach bounce. I believe in the Seattle Seahawks.
Dang it,
favorite.
Rod.
Give me
It's
the
a good
Seahawks
pick.
here.
That's the
Real
pick I
solid pick.
wanted.
Big pick. Big pick. Chris, was that somebody on your radar there?
Yeah, a little bit, but I have a tough one here. Which one of these two teams do I think is more likely to get to double-digit victories?
I think you're hoping for 9 here. I think we got double-digit teams off the board, basically. I think you're hoping for 9 here.
This team does have a legitimate chance, probably, to at least compete for this division. I think, as much as I hate this team, I think I'm going to take Jacksonville.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a good pick. They got an easy schedule. If Doug
Okay.
Peterson's going to keep his job, they better do something this year. That's a good pick.
All right, Williams. Not looking too bad. You've got some high upside and a little downside with that Eagles pick, maybe. But overall, not
There
too
we
bad
go,
with the
Jim.
first pick. What do you
Get
got?
Yeah, Rod stealing the Seahawks from me. That hurt pretty bad. But I'm not high on this team either, but there's no way this team should be going 24th, and that's the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I figured they were.
That's who I was trying to decide between Jacksonville and Buffalo. I went Jacksonville.
Pretty good pick there.
I considered the Bills as well because Josh Allen's just so good, right? Like your floor is just so low with Josh Allen as your quarterback.
And then I think I can wait on this team, maybe. Actually, I probably can't.
You actually probably can. It's literally the last pick in the draft.
Yeah. Sure. So who do I want? Either or. I'm going to go with the Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinals.
That's
Marvin
fine.
Harrison Jr., Kyler Murray to get that running back. Okay. Chris King.
So I am a fan, all right? And as a fan, sometimes you got to hedge your bets a little bit, and you have to take teams that you don't like.
No.
I had to take Jacksonville because they're a rival to my
no.
Colts. So now I have to take a rival to my Cowboys, and I'm going to be taking the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh. That's a pretty good
Tom.
pick. You got 9 wins, though. 9 wins in the 6th round.
Listen,
round?
maybe 8 wins. We don't know if he's going to get to a winning record. He could finish 8-1.
Yeah.
There's some weird stuff that happens in Pittsburgh. But as a Cowboy fan, if I'm going to be disappointed, chances are I'm going to be doubly disappointed by Pittsburgh being good.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Rod, what do you think?
I'm telling you right now, I'm going to the NFC South. All right. I'm going to the NFC South again. And so I'm just going to let you boys in on that right now. Do I want my guy or do I want the team that I think actually might be a better team but has a worse coach? No, I can't do it. Give me Baker. Give me the Bucks.
We knew where you were going.
Wow. This isn't fun right now for me. Do I believe in Sam Darnold? No.
You know who I believe in though, Jimmy? We'll get to that later.
Even Rod.
We'll
We'll
to
talk about that later. I'm going to go with I believe in Bo. I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Dang it. I thought for sure that's who I could get with my last pick.
And then, do I want to have fun? Do I want to not care? I mean, oh, God, this is really hard. I hate the Saints. They're not fun to root for. The Vikings.
Don't do it.
Redskins. Or the Commanders. I'm going to go Commanders.
Come on, James. I thought for sure I'd get one of those two teams with my last pick, and then here you come. Stealing Williams Snake earlier, so I'm going to protest this now because it probably isn't actually your pick. I would have been able to get one of these two. So I'm going to log my protest now, and then I'm going to continue with your fun. I think this team may be fun. Give me a second team from the AFC South to go with my 2 teams from the NFC
Stealing my
South,
teams,
my
Rod.
2 teams from the North. Give me Will Levis chucking the ball down the field. Give me Tajay Spears. Give me Chris's cast off Tony Pollard. Tennessee will be doing some things. They won't be winning a whole lot of games, hopefully, but they'll be doing some things better than the Saints or the Vikings.
Chris King.
Have we had any type of draft in any of the TMYK universe where Rod hasn't lodged a protest of some sort?
I actually think this is the one he's been most upset about. I'm not gonna lie. This is a big one here.
I don't know. He's gone off on me hard a few times.
Williams giving me the Giants rock his world.
That's ridiculous. Like, honestly, that could win Jimmy the whole league. That could win Jimmy the whole league right there. Williams messing around and giving him the Giants.
No, I only have the Giants one more win than the Patriots.
We got to think that Jimmy's record of picking winning teams in NFL is not good. So maybe the Giants end up having the most wins of any of his teams. That's not going to help him win.
Derek Carr, Sam Darnold. Chris, who you got?
Give me the Saints.
Yes. I wanted the Vikings. All right.
And there we have it.
Kevin
for
O'Connell,
those listening at home.
So Williams has to have him.
Williams, go over your teams real quick.
All right, I got KC and Philly, maybe possible Super Bowl preview there. I got Miami. I got the Ravens. You gave me the Raiders, which isn't terrible, I don't think. No. I got the Bills. I got Zona, and I got the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, we're gonna come back to you in a minute. What team are you most confident, and what team are you most scared about here in a minute? Chris King, go over your teams.
I got the Bengals, the Jets, the Boys, the Rams, the Panthers, the Jags, a lot of cats. The Steelers and the Saints.
For those of you watching on YouTube or X, who do you think won the draft so far? Who won the draft? Rod, tell me your teams.
I got the Dirty Birds from the Falcons. Welcome to Atlanta. I got the Detroit Football Lions, Green Bay Packers, my Indianapolis Colts. Come on, Anthony Richardson, stay on the field. I got the Seattle Seahawks. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I have the Tennessee Titans. And I think there's another team in there.
There's only 7 teams, Rod.
Say the name, Rod. Say it.
There's another team in there that Jimmy will be keeping track of. I don't think they're going to win a lot of games, so it's not going to be a thing that's going to concern me. So they're just there's this other team with like a colonial kind of mascot.
I have the Browns, the Texans, the 49ers, the Bears. Thank you for the Giants, Williams, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Commanders. I am most scared about the Browns because I'm kind of all in on them. And why? I don't know, but I'm scared about the Browns. I'm pretty confident about the Niners. Niners third-round pick, I think, is an amazing value for what I got. So I'm okay on that. Rod, how about you?
I am most confident in the... Wow. Actually, now look at my teams. I'm not. There's a lot of trepidation in a lot of mine there. But I'm most confident in the Falcons. Honestly, I'm most confident in the Falcons. They have the easiest schedule in the league. That has to mean something. That Kirk Cousins just has never led a team to like being absolutely terrible. That's just not what he does. So I'm most confident in the Falcons. Thank goodness, because I did take it with my first pick. Wow. And the team that I'm the most nervous about is frankly my favorite team, Anthony Richardson, because I don't believe that Joe Flacco is going to be able to dial it up again. If we got to go to him, if A-Rich goes down, I do believe in Shane Steichen, but I don't know that I believe in Joe Flacco. So that scares me. So the Colts are my team.
Chris, 100% of our viewers right now are picking you to win the league.
Yeah.
Shout out to Corey Nance.
Yep.
Who are you most confident? Who are you most scared about?
Listen, first off, Rod was wrong. He should be most confident about Dan Campbell and those Detroit Lions. They've proved it the last 2 years. That's more than anybody else on his squad. That's who he should be most confident
Rod,
about.
your opinion on your team is incorrect, just so you know.
Correct.
Chris King, go ahead.
The Bengals, all right. They're coming back. Everybody's healthy. We got Burrow. We got Chase. We got the whole squad. The defense is coming around. The Bengals have that division essentially locked up. That's who I am least concerned about. I'm probably most concerned about the Rams on this team just because I need them to get to double-digit wins for this team to be successful.
And the person who has changed his mind and hates snake drafts, Williams.
I feel good about Kansas City and Philly. I don't know. Probably the Raiders. That's the pick that I'm worried most about.
That's so weak. That's so weak. All he said is, I'm worried about the team that I didn't even draft.
He's so good, Rod. No, he's so good.
My picks are
fine
great
with everybody.
I got left with the Vikings. They're going to win that division.
I have the Vikings winning 7 games, so to get that with my last pick is fine. Just because of their coaching.
Jimmy, fine. Wonderful. Let's move on here. Let's move on. Williams is so good that he's just going to give the team that he's the most worried about as the team that he was given supposed to be his bad team.
Hey, I'm most worried about your team, Rod.
For the listeners, the bad team that we told them at the beginning of the draft the round was going to be where a guy's given a bad team, and Williams gave that as a team he's worried
This is
about.
fake anger, Rod. You're just upset because he's dissing your boy Gardner Minshew. All right, we know where the love is. All right, you're just trying to protect your boy.
Fake anger is something I've never been accused of, Chris. Absolutely never once been accused of being fake angry in my entire life.
More worried about Antonio Pierce.
Been accused of being angry numerous times, but never been accused of being fake angry. So I guess thank you on that. Let's go immediately to hot takes right now. All right, let's all fire off a couple of hot takes for the season, and then we can move off of football talking for the week. All right, I'm gonna go right at Chris King again because he just decided to take another shot at me completely unprovoked. So my first hot take is Mike Zimmer ends the year as the Dallas Cowboys interim head coach. Let's go. Things go crazy in D-Town. McCarthy gets fired, and Mike Zimmer's the interim coach by the end of the year. That's my first hot take.
Listen, it's Dallas. That's very possible. It's very possible that could happen, and we still get to 12 wins and still win our division. Like, that's all possible in Dallas. It is a soap opera.
All right, there we go. That one didn't get much reaction from the crowd. Chris, do you have a hot take that might get more of a reaction from the crowd? Williams is clearly studying up, getting ready for his take, and Jimmy is no doubt expertly producing this podcast, so I don't want Jimmy to think I'm taking shots at him. But Chris, maybe you will get more of a response.
You're going to love this, Rod. Colts in the Super Bowl.
Oh, get out.
Wow, look out. Look out. Chris is all in on A-Rich. Let's hear about it.
Yeah, no, I am. I'm all in. I told you at the beginning of the year I'm going to be a fan. This is one of the fandom things. I think everything works out right. We have a top-tier running back. We have a good receiving core, and we got A-Rich, who I think is going to be a guy, like you said, Rod, 30 passing, 15 rushing. Like, that's a lot of offense that we have on this team. So, yeah, I'm all in. Let's go Colts. Magical season right now.
Listen, Chris, you at least got the assignment, my man. I love you for that. Thank you. That is definitely a hot take right there. James Thomas, let's just have Williams close us out with a whimper because we all know his hot takes are going to not even be scolding hot. They're just going to be lukewarm. So, Jimmy, let's get yours.
All in. Deshaun Watson, your MVP.
Woo! Woo!
He did this last year with the Chargers, right? He went all in MVP. Let's go Chargers, win the division. Now it's the Browns this year.
Yep.
I would be very upset if I lived in Cleveland.
Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have to swallow a whole lot of feelings to make Deshaun Watson the MVP of the National Football League. That is scalding hot, my friend, Mr. Jim Riska.
Thank you.
Williams, I jest in good fun, my friend. I jest in good fun. Perhaps you do have a scalding hot take for me that will burn my earbuds out. I don't even have earbuds on. These regular headphones.
Well, I've got four total. The fourth one is going to blow all your minds. So let's come out with some tameness here. This is a career one. This is a career hot take, and the number is 5,059. That's the number that this guy has to get to break the all-time record for this franchise. 5,059 is the all-time receiving record for the Chicago Bears. And I think by the time his career is over, that Rome Odunze is going to be the all-time receiving yardage leader for the Chicago Bears.
Market right now, about 7 to 9 years. We'll come back and we'll look at that.
Hey,
who's the leading receiver for the Bears right now? Is it still that dude like Johnny Lujak? Is it still like that dude?
Johnny Morris.
Johnny Morris, excuse me. Johnny Lujak, I think, is a quarterback for Notre Dame. Sorry there. But wow, Bears. Hey, listen, Rome Odunze looks good. Caleb Williams looks good. I was firing up the Bears train. So I'm not against that at all. All right, I'm going to go to my second hot take. And my second hot take is I think more NFL teams should take their players to water parks. I mean, I, like all of you, like to scroll around social media, and the look of unbridled joy on my man Kirk Cousins' face when he was heading down that water slide, and the camaraderie and the fellowship that all those players probably felt when they went to the water park inspired me so much that I decided to take them as my number one team in the wins draft. So more water park, more fun. It's the NFL. We all know it's the most important thing in the world, but you're still playing a game. Let's have some fun every once in a while. More quarterbacks down water slides, more trips to water parks for NFL teams. That's my hot take.
Rod, I'm gonna go right off of that as well. I think the water park was so much fun that Kyle Pitts will have 10 or more touchdowns. Finally, he becomes fantasy gold. Kyle Pitts.
Wow, the little rock impression in there was nice too. I like that.
Sorry, Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts, who was 2 years too early when he went for like $27 in auction drafts a couple of years ago, where people in mouth breather snake drafts took him in possible round 3 or 4, and then he ended up doing absolutely nothing for them. So let's hope Kyle Pitts actually comes through this year. Chris, what do you got for us?
This is the year we finally see Detroit get to the NFC Championship game.
They were there last year, right?
Oh, crap. That's
Scolding.
right. That's right.
Scolding.
Back
Yep.
to back.
Yep.
Scolding.
Yep.
Scolding tape from our guy there.
Yep. That was horrible.
Oh, hey, listen,
No
back to back.
excuses.
Just Chris, listen, Jimmy, edit this part out. Chris, take that again and just say the Lions are going to the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row.
Yeah. We'll do it live, right? We'll just do it live.
That's awesome.
The Lions are going 2 years in a row, back-to-back NFC Championship.
Oh wow, yeah. You think I'm
Hey.
editing that out? You're nuts.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
That's
Williams,
wild.
what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with Chris there. I think the Lions are going to go back to the NFC Championship game. I'll say this, and Chris will not like this, though. Neither of the 2 seeds from last year's playoffs will make the playoffs this season. Those teams, they would be the Buffalo Bills and Chris's Dallas Cowboys.
Not looking good, Chris. Put that other hat on.
He
Not looking
did
good.
pick the Browns to win that division. I don't know.
He's a smart man. He is a
He-
smart man.
Usually, but I don't know.
All right.
All right. It's me. I
yeah,
gotta
it's
have
you,
another
Rod.
hot take here. I gotta have another hot take, and I got one ready. And frankly, a lot of people have been kicking this one around for a couple of years. And our guy, who we celebrate on the podcast quite often, has managed to make things happen. Chris alluded to it earlier in this podcast, but I believe this is the year it finally goes bad for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And by bad, I probably mean 6 games, but Pittsburgh fans, don't be down. If you guys actually manage to win 5 or 6 games or even 4 somehow, it'd probably be good for you. You get yourself an actual real quarterback, unlike the trash that you've been traipsing through there. But let's make sure we don't blame it on our guy, Mike Tomlin. And Mike, if you're listening, maybe soften up some of the rah-rah speeches by the end of the year. All right. Maybe soften up some of those and let's just take a couple of L's. All right. Because getting a high pick and a decent quarterback might be a good thing for the latter half of your career, Mike. So my hot take is something that has never happened before. And Mike Tomlin finally finishes under 500.
Rod, we did not do this beforehand, but I also have a Pittsburgh Steelers hot take. My boy, can't get rid of him. Justin Fields is a Pro Bowl quarterback this year.
One of us is going to be right, Jim. Either things are
Yep.
going to go well for the Steelers and then Fields is the Pro Bowler, or I'm right and Tomlin goes under 500. So I like that.
Jimmy, did you see the last 8 games of the Steelers schedule? There's no way. It's an insane hot take.
Yeah, their schedule is tough.
Hey, at least mine can be proven this year, Williams.
That's
Fields could
Nah,
have
about 9
a-
years, Roma Dunze will be really good.
Technically, Fields could
That's a
have a
Wu-Tang
great
impression. I don't know.
year. Pittsburgh still finish below 500 and maybe still be a Pro
Yeah.
Bowl quarterback. I mean, weird stuff's happened. It is the NFL.
And I didn't say he wasn't like I mean, I guess the Pro Bowl is not really a Pro Bowl anymore, but whatever. He's
And
going
that-
to be a Pro Bowl.
That being said,
Uh-oh. We are seeing the bald head a lot tonight for those of you.
Yeah, we are.
Cowboys will win the Super Bowl this year over the Colts. Williams, thank you very much.
Oh, my God. All
Told
right.
you guys I'm a fan this year. All right. I'm
Yeah.
a fan. My 2 teams are making it to the Super Bowl, and they're beating my other 2 favorite teams to get there. Cowboys over Lions, Colts over Bengals.
Good Lord. All right, Williams, what do you got?
Okay. Chris is not going to like this either.
He's going after you, Chris.
The Eagles and the Falcons will each win their division by at least 5 games this year.
Yikes.
5 games. Wow.
That is correct.
Let's
I can't believe Rod took the Falcons.
There is
after
nothing
trashing
but
them last week.
strife in Philadelphia between coach and quarterback. You think
You know
they're
what?
getting
You know
that
what?
figured
You know what
out?
helps that? Winning.
Maybe, or a water park, apparently. Maybe
That's
the
what I'm
Eagles need to
saying.
go there.
Oh, there's got to be some great water parks in the greater Philadelphia area. Let's get on that, Nick Sirianni. All right, it's me. I got to close it out with my final hot take. And quite frankly, there's a lot of different directions that I could go with this hot take, right? There's many different wild things that I could say that will occur in the National Football League, but I'm not going to do any of those. I'm going to do one that I think shouldn't be considered hot. Jaden Daniels will win Offensive Rookie of the Year and not Caleb Williams.
Well, he's going to have a lot of running because he's going to have to. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's I don't know if that's not really scalding, Rod. So I like how you kind of preface that. That's okay.
Listen, Chris got to redo one of his takes. All right. If I come with one lukewarm for my final,
No, he
one,
didn't.
I
No
even
one
know
heard
were
it
doing
because we
4.
edited it out. Okay.
No one
With
told
the
me
fir-
we were doing 4. All right. My first 3 were gold. No one told me we were doing 4, but then William said his best one was 4. So I had to get to 4.
The first pick in the 2025 NFL draft belongs to the Seattle Seahawks. I think they are going to have the worst season this year.
That's a tough division.
Hey,
If it falls
it's a
apart
take,
for 'em-
Williams. It's hot.
Jimmy, it's not the Seahawks' fault that you got hit in the face by a fish when you were at the fish market. All right. That has nothing to do with the Seahawks. You should quit this grudge against Seattle.
That was a 4th grade field trip, Rob. We're not talking about that. Chris King, what is your?
We have the kickoffs back, people. We have
No,
kickoff
you're so wrong.
returns.
You're so wrong. You're so wrong.
This year, Kyron Williams for the Rams is going to break Devin Hester's return record.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No,
It's a
he's
hot
not.
take, Rod.
But it's just not. It's not feasible, Chris. It's not feasible, and I'll tell you why. Because returns are going to like the 28.5, and then a touchback is the 30. So basically, all these coaches are going to say to themselves, "Do I want to take time out of practice to figure out this new weird kickoff rule for 1.5 yards, or do I want to just keep kicking it out of the end zone like they did last year?" Because only 22% of kicks were returned last year. It's much ado about nothing, Chris. I love it for a hot take, but it's much ado about nothing.
Just pouring water on people's dreams, Rod. That's all you want to do.
You never do that. You never do that.
What's your last one, Williams? Wow us.
Okay. Well, first of all, Jimmy, you weren't here for the NFC West breakdown last week. So
Sure.
I think Mike McDonald has a better chance to be coach of the year than Seattle having the first pick of the draft. But neither here nor there. Let me tell you about this team and who this team does not play. Okay. This team does not play Kansas City and Mahomes. They don't play Baltimore and Lamar. They don't play Cincy and Burrow. They don't play Philly and Hurts. They don't play Dallas and Dak. They don't play Atlanta and Cousins. They don't play Cleveland, Tough D. They don't play the Chargers. Many people think that's a playoff team with Herbert and Harbaugh. They don't play the Lions, Golf and Company. They don't play the Packers, Love and Company. They don't play the Bears, the upstart Bears. Listen to those teams that this team does not play. Remember, the 3 places where I've always said it's tough to play is at Seattle, the 12th man, and now especially with Mike McDonald, at Denver in September with elevation, and at Miami in September with the humidity. This team gets Seattle at home, they get Denver at home, and they play Miami in December. So they're also the net rest disadvantage games for this team are at Tennessee, which that's a young quarterback, and versus the Pats. So if you're ever going to come off short rest and play a couple teams, I mean, the Titans and Pats are 2 teams that you wouldn't mind playing. And the 2 best teams that this team plays from the AFC South, in my opinion, Houston and Indy, they get those teams at home this year. Their toughest game all year long is the first game of the year at San Francisco. I'm talking about the New York Jets. This game, sharp money has hit and it has went down from 7 all the way down to 3.5. Don't forget, Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers have ties to California, San Francisco. And I think that this team, the New York Jets, if they go out and beat, we've seen the turmoil in San Francisco with Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams. We don't know who's playing. If this team goes out and beats San Francisco, I think the New York Jets, I'm not picking the New York Jets to win the Super Bowl. I'm taking the New York Jets at 170-1 on FanDuel for yes. The Jets to go undefeated this year, baby. 170
regular season,
170-1 on FanDuel. That's what I got in May.
How much are you putting on that?
That's not
$1?
the kind of question you ask.
No, that is the question you ask, because if I can do that all day, I can say, yeah, I'm going to put $1 on it. Put your money where your mouth is, Williams. Put $10 on it, man.
Maybe I have put more on that.
Wow, look at that. Listen.
Oh, a little flex. All right. My bad.
He also flexed with his knowledge on all the way up there, folks. All right. That's why you listen to the man. He knows what he's talking about.
I'm really happy I got the Jets in that wins draft now.
You stole the Jets from me, Chris. If they go out and beat San Francisco, there's only 2 more games all year where they're underdogs, and that's at Miami and at Buffalo. I think they could win those games. So, yeah.
I refuse to root for Aaron Rodgers to do anything. Good luck to you, Williams.
You're going to root for the Patriots, though, aren't you?
I don't know what you're talking about. All right. That was a fun football show for everyone. We have some important wrestling to get to, so we are going to close up shop here on the football show. Thank you to our main man, Corey Nance, for tuning in live. Thank you to anyone else who will be listening to this pod or checking it out on YouTube later. We greatly appreciate it. Give us a follow. Give us a comment. Those things are absolutely free, but then it helps boost us a little bit. So perhaps we can gain a few more listeners as we all continue to try to do this show that we all put a little bit of work into and really do our best to try to make it fun and exciting for all of you. So thanks for listening to another episode. Jimmy, thanks for producing. Williams, thanks for all the knowledge. And Chris, final word to you before we talk some wrestling.
Goodbye, Internet.
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Marinos Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Chris. And Rod, let's talk about Bryan Danielson winning the AEW championship. We're not going to talk about that, are we?
No, listen, congrats. All right, congrats to Daniel Bryan, as I will call him, a.k.a. Bryan Danielson. You know, the guy's a wrestler's wrestler, right? He's been all over the world. He's got the respect to everybody. I like his underdog triumphant storyline from the WWE days. So you're not going to hear me say a bad thing about Bryan Danielson. Good luck to him, but good luck to all of AEW, because I continue to not want to pull for them.
Chris, what do you think the biggest storyline was? Bryan Danielson winning the championship or Ricochet making a debut?
I'm sorry. We're talking about WWE, right? I don't pay attention to any of this other minor league crap.
Dang. Okay, so the minor league crap, you know, we'll talk about WWE. What'd you think of Uncle Howdy's debut?
About time. Good debut. It was a good match. I mean, you can't go wrong with Gable, right?
You can't have a bad match with Gable unless you really try hard. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a great match. Good to see him in the ring. We can actually see everybody fight now. Let's go.
Rod, where are you at with the Wyatt Six? I know you've kind of been on them.
Listen, congratulations. All right. Congratulations to everyone and all the friends we have made along the way, all of the time we have spent, all of the footage we have spliced, all of the minutes we have taken away from pay-per-views and from live TV events and from the Pat McAfee show and all of this stuff. We have done all of this to create mid-carders. Congratulations. We have the Wyatt Six fighting with the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile and Chad Gable and showing up in the middle of Raw and then headlining a Raw where they don't want anybody to get hurt ahead of a PLE and a guy's wearing a mask. Like, congratulations, man. You guys have your Wyatt Six and have him be the king of the mid-carders. I continue to not have one reason to give a crap about anything that the Wyatt Six does. It's ridiculous, Jimmy. It's ridiculous that a grown man was wrestling in that mask. It was absolutely ridiculous.
I didn't really like the hair. I'm not going to lie. I really didn't like the hair. The mask was, I could go either way, but I see what you say on that. Maybe the Uncle Howdy is the outside the ring persona and he just does the Bo Dallas inside. I can see where that would be something. But then you have Dexter Loomis who looks awesome. So, like, where do you go with that, I guess, is the question, Chris.
I think Rob would be upset even if they came out and were headlining and main eventers right off the bat instead of being portrayed as mid-carders. But I think this is something that I've been taught by you guys is that WWE is good at long-term storytelling, all right? And this is what I see is a little bit of maybe this is what we're trying to do is this is an pro-family type of thing, and we're going to go off and attack groups that act as families and then turn their backs on each other, like we're seeing that Gable did with Alpha Academy. And I can see maybe an eventual lead up to a big time bloodline feud if that's still going on at that point in time. Because if it is, I'll still be rooting for the bloodline to be dismantled and destroyed. So,
wow. All right. Speaking of, well, I guess Rod, let's talk about the bloodline a little bit. Looks like Solo's taking charge, giving tag team titles away, huh?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on there, other than I guess Jacob Fatu, can't wrestle right now, and they want the belts to be able to be wrestled for. That's probably what it is. And so we decided, like, let's try to do some cool, fancy thing because the WWE continues to not be able to just allow people to be hurt. Rhea Ripley had to give up her title, and it just, I don't quite get that. We're making a big deal on social media.
Every 30 days, Rod. Roman Reigns only had 8 title defenses in 3 years. No question. Every 30 days, you have to defend those titles, bud.
But I'm just saying we're making it a big deal about how CM Punk dropped in a podcast interview about how there's an app now where wrestlers can go on and just say, I need this day off and I need that day off, and they get it, right? So if we're supposed to be celebrating that, then hey, guess what? You can just say Jacob Fatu's injured right now and the tag belts aren't going to be wrestled for a couple of weeks. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's all fine. So we need to have stories to tell with Solo. I'm impressed with the advancements that Solo has made. Perhaps this was always who he was and they're just making him be quiet, but he's talking an awful lot and he's holding his own out there in the ring and people really seem to hate him. He garners just as much, well, not as much heat as Dominic Mysterio because no one gets as much heat as Dominic Mysterio.
No one.
But he garners a lot of heat, man. The fans really do dislike that guy and that's what he's supposed to do. So I'm fine with the bloodline, but then again, I've always been fine with bloodline.
Speaking of Dom Mysterio, Chris King, Rhea Ripley speaking Spanish. Thoughts?
I don't have a problem with it.
That was pretty sweet, actually. Listen, Priest and Ripley are fantastic together. They were before, they are now. I cannot wait to see this match at Bash at Berlin, which we need to talk about because that is a pay-per-view coming up. It's at like 1 o'clock premium live event, I think, on Saturday, something
1
like
Eastern.
that. 1 Eastern. We have a mixed tag match between Liv Morgan and Dom Mysterio versus Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. One could argue if Gunther wasn't the champion, this might be the main event of the show. But obviously, I think Gunther's going to be there. So Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio versus Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. Rod, who you got?
Dom and Liv in some sort of an absolute travesty that angers the hell out of everyone and continues to prove that Liv wants no part of Rhea Ripley in an actual real match, but continues to get the best of her. So I'm going with Dom and Liv to continue telling this. I don't think they're going to wrap this up with those guys being the only real story they're telling on Monday night right now in Berlin. So I think the way you continue it is Dom and Liv win.
I agree with Rod on that one. And I actually think Ripley might get pinned here. I think that could happen. Pinned maybe by Dom. I don't know if you can. We'll see what the rules are. Who knows? Chris.
No, I think you're going to see the terrible Twin Tower people win this match. I'm not sure what they're calling themselves, all right? The Terrible Twins, the Terror Twins.
You know full well it definitely ain't
All right.
Twin Tower people. You know for sure it ain't that.
I'm just saying, all right? I want to see Dom get his butt kicked. I'll watch Liv and Rhea fight, but I think you're going to see Dom get choke slammed from about 12 feet high and look like he's about to die, and the crowd's going to love it, and Damian will get that pin.
So, Chris, do you know that there was a tag team in the WWE named the Twin Towers? Do you know that?
No, I don't believe I did.
All right. Well, guess what? We have the ability to show some things here. The Twin Towers was the Big Boss Man and Akeem, the African Dream. So if this is Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, God help us all. I just thought that was awesome, Chris. I knew you didn't know that was a thing, but
From
but
Cobb
that was
County,
definitely
Georgia.
one of the greatest songs ever. Another tag team match we have Fire and Dawn, the Unholy Union, versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Had a decent match on SmackDown by Bianca and Jade. I don't know. I don't see them winning the titles. I don't see where it goes with this. So I'm gonna think Unholy Union keeps it. I don't really have a thought. This is the Chris King I don't care segment of the day on this match. I'm not really into it, Rod.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. What the only thing I think about this match is like I'm disappointed in where we're at with Bianca Belair. I'm disappointed with where we're at with Bianca right now. She's kind of almost nowhere. She's sort of like just a cheerleader for Jade Cargill, who you continue to see that they are just protecting the hell out of in any match that she is in. So I don't know. I'm with you, Jimmy. I'm going to do the Chris King. I don't care much about this and say that Dawn and Fire will probably continue to have the belts.
Chris.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Bianca and Jade. All right.
Of course. Let's go. Chris, I love you, man.
Give me the EST and Jade. I don't understand why they took the belts off them in the first place. All right. I didn't see what it accomplished or anything like that. Let's put the belts back on them. Give a little bit of esteem to the EST. At least give her a belt to wear if she's going to be playing the sidekick for the foreseeable future. Give them the belts back.
We don't have to give any esteem to Bianca Belair, Chris. All right. We're talking about a woman who won WrestleMania main event 2 years in a row. All right. She doesn't need any esteem. That's why we're disappointed with where they have her right now.
That's why you should put the belt back on her, Rod.
Bianca Belair in the Kevin Owens role, if you will, in the women's division right now, where can be champion anytime, but can lose all the time and everything's okay. Speaking of which, Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes are facing off for the WWE Championship. I can't wait. This is going to be a fantastic match. Terrific. Do I really care? It's going to my favorite wrestler. Cody Rhodes is great as well. I think it's going to be a terrific match. There's no way Kevin Owens is winning the championship here. No way at all. Chris.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes. I will be rooting for KO though, because until he decides to turn heel, because I guess that's what he does a lot, according to the vignettes that we were shown. So I imagine he'll turn heel here soon. But I see Cody still having the belt because they're going to keep Cody having the belt until something big with Roman or the final boss comes around again next year during WrestleMania.
Rod, Kevin Owens has not re-signed a WWE contract. That would be bad. Is Kevin Owens going to win this match?
Absolutely not. Kevin Owens is not going to win this match. And I think it's high time that we all understand that something you gentlemen have been yelling at me about and shouting me down about is just absolutely true. Cody Rhodes is boring. No one cares other than the fact that they love Cody Rhodes. So no one wants to come out and say that this is an absolute shamockery, that they have not done anything but give Cody an opponent where we're fed a storyline where Cody and that person stand in the ring and they say to each other, hey, man, I respect you. And that person says back to Cody, hey, man, I respect you. Well, let's get in the ring and do it. And Cody comes out on top and everybody gets to cheer for the little baby face again. Cody Rhodes is so friggin' boring right now. It's terrible. And Chris, you said that I'd have been pissed if the Wyatt Six would have showed up at the main event. Absolutely not. The weird ass Wyatt Six messing with America's golden boy Cody Rhodes. Sign me up for that. Because as of right now, they've got zero story to tell with Cody Rhodes. And it's completely on Front Street when you pull the Kevin Owens card. Jimmy talked about it leading up to this match. This all Kevin Owens is a guy with a name that you can pull up at any time and he can lose and it's fine. So you guys continue to eat down the Cody Rhodes complete entertaining storylines. I'm over it. Cody Rhodes is boring.
Chris, do you use your hands when you eat like that, or are you a knife and fork kind of guy?
I'm evolved. I use utensils. All right, I've been around a long time, but I don't think
You a fan of the spork, Chris?
I'm pretty sure that utensils were even before me. That being said,
I love the fact that you're pretty sure. You're not really sure though.
I tend to agree with you though, Rod. I've been not all that. I didn't really care that much for the Cody story after he got the belt, and now you have Roman back to deal with the bloodline. So Cody doesn't have that. So there's literally nothing to do for Cody. So we have the most prestigious belt on somebody with absolutely no story going on. And it's seems a little bit odd to me.
Well, just be ready because I believe Cody Rhodes wins this match. And then I believe Kevin Owens goes apeshit and just destroys him. And we're going to get a rematch. Just so you know. I've seen it before. Maybe I'm wrong. I could easily be wrong here, but they've teased it enough where I think Kevin Owens might go bad. In the main event,
can we talk about the greatest wrestler from Scotland now, please? Can we talk about the greatest wrestler from Scotland now, please? The hottest.
I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait for that one, but yeah, we can. The bloodbath here. Between
No. That's not the hottest wrestler going from Scotland, Jimmy. That's not actually the hottest wrestler going out there right now from Scotland. That's not who I was referring to.
What would his name be?
We can talk about him when we get done with Clash at the Castle, but I just wanted to get that shot in there for my boy because I did think you were going to that match. I'm sorry, I forgot about another one.
No, we'll talk about Gunther and Randy Orton here. Gunther's going to win this match. I think it'll be a good match. Randy's going to go all out on, I think, for this one because it will be the last match on the show. But I think Gunther's going to get a really good title win here. Rod.
I totally agree with you. I like the promo that Randy cut, right? For a guy like Chris and for other people who may not know the Randy Orton story, right? Him like laying that out there a little bit more and putting it there on the table that he wants to be 15 and he understands that will put him in a pantheon, unlike a lot of other professional wrestlers. So I dug that, but yeah, no, there's no way he's going to win this at Bash in Berlin against a guy named Gunther. Like that's just not happening.
Chris,
give me the legend killer to kill the legend of Gunther in and near his own countryside. You have told me over and over again to expect the unexpected, and they love screwing people on their home turf. I know. He's from Austria, just across the southern border to Germany. All right. He is beloved in Germany as one of his own. This is Gunther's hometown. Everything you guys have taught me over the last few years tells me this is going to be crazy. It is going to cause almost riots. Germans don't have a sense of humor. They're not going to enjoy this at all. And
Germans sitting in the back going, what do we do?
Going down.
Those were Vince McMahon rules, Chris.
Yeah,
I would just say.
Vince McMahon rule. But I listen, you got to throw it in there, but I love it. I love that. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do now. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, they are going to have a strap match. It is going to be bloody. It is going to be nasty. There's going to be welts everywhere. And CM Punk will win, setting up the third and final match in a Hell in a Cell. Rod.
Yeah, give me old Phil here. Give me Phil in the Living Color song. That's fine. I'll hear that at the end of this match after they absolutely wear one another out with a strap. Because shout out to Karrion Kross. All right, I see you, Karrion Kross. I see you. And I remember the phenomenal strap match you had with Drew McIntyre. It didn't do much for you, Karrion, because you're still messing around with the New Day. But I remember the phenomenal match you had.
That was a phenomenal match, Rod. And I can't believe you guys are going to be rooting for a guy who likes to attack people from behind over and over again, who has no sense of loyalty. He's not even a real patriot. He's got Cobra tattooed on his arm, guys. All right. He's not even a G.I. Joe. He's not a patriot. And you guys are rooting for him. I don't understand this at all.
To be fair,
it's Drew McIntyre.
My favorite guy is Seth Rollins, Chris, to be fair. I mean, he does all of those things you just discussed.
Like rooting and picking winners, those are different things, right?
You guys are rooting for the enemy, and I don't understand it.
I love you. You're fantastic.
I've got nothing against the second hottest wrestler coming and going right now from Scotland. I've got nothing against him.
What would be the name of the first hottest wrestler from Scotland, Rod?
Jimmy, if I say his name, then he'll appear. And quite
Yes, he
frankly,
will.
we don't have quite the money for the appearance fee for him right now because he's
No.
so hot. He's so hot. We absolutely could not pay it.
Joe Hendry is going to wrestle for the world championship in NXT.
Yes,
and he's
NXT
probably
is
gonna
awesome.
win it.
NXT
Yeah.
is awesome right now, dude. They
It's
got
getting
some
good,
serious,
yeah.
great storylines going, man. I'm telling you, Trick Williams is a
Pretty
great wrestler.
sure I told you guys I don't watch the minor leagues at the beginning of this episode. So
Okay,
I'm not
but
sure what
it's
you're talking
the
about.
developmental. It literally is the minor leagues, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I don't watch the NBA D League. Okay, I don't watch
D-League.
arena football or Canadian football. All right, I don't watch.
The Arena League is bankrupt. Like
I
you're
don't-
totally showing your age.
I
right
don't
now.
watch the Indianapolis Indians or the Iowa Cubs or the South Bend whatevers. You know, I don't watch these minor leagues. I don't care. What are you talking about minor leagues for?
Because Joe Hendry has the most phenomenal wrestling theme song you've ever heard in your entire life, and because there's a movement happening right now, Chris, and that's what's fun
And-
about professional wrestling. And because Ethan Page is a phenomenal heel, this guy's going to be on the fast track to the WWE with his ability to absolutely get the crowd in the palm of his hands and hate him in T-minus 30 seconds. Like I'm telling you, man, Trick Williams, won't that trick? It's all coming, dude. You're going to hear some of these theme songs are going to pop at the Royal Rumble in February, and Jimmy and I and the other well-learned WWE fans in there are going to know who these are, and you're going to look around, who are these dudes? Oh, are these the minor league guys? I don't like minor leagues. I'm Chris. I only pay attention to the big boys.
I've also told you numerous times on this very podcast that I'm not one to pay attention to theme songs either. So you're not making any kind of case that's going to sway me right now.
From London to Paris and Tokyo.
The eruption that is going to happen when he comes out is like nothing you will have heard that entire evening, Chris. It's going to be terrific. It really will be. And
there's going to be a voice, Chris, that's going to say his name, and he appears, and then he's going to flip around and do his male model look at the crowd, and everybody's going to go berserk, man. I'm telling you, just get ready for it. I'm not even sure the guy can wrestle. He really can't wrestle, but he has done what you're supposed to do in professional wrestling. He is focused in on the stupid gimmick because stupid gets over with the crowd, and this dude is over like Rover right now.
Let's hope that stupid over lasts until next year's Royal Rumble then.
He's about to become NXT champion on Sunday, Chris, so there's a very good chance that it will.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the Morgatos Podcasting Network. Chris, Rod, thanks for being here.
LA Knight, listen, we're sorry. Normally, we do a lot of talking about you on this podcast, and we left out your open challenge. We probably could have predicted who we think is going to walk out for that open challenge, but I wanted to talk about Joe Hendry, so I apologize, LA Knight.
Goodbye, Net. Yeah.
R.I.P. Psycho Sid.